Coming up to Windsor. Okay. It was LAUSD police that were initially in pursuit of this reckless driver, that black pickup truck that you see there. No units directly behind him at this point, but we have since heard that the LAPD has now taken over this high-speed pursuit on surface streets. This first started in the Los Feliz area, again, on surface streets. It's unclear exactly where the suspect was at the time that school police tried to pull him over. He refused to yield, and the pursuit was on. It has been going on now for approximately 15 minutes. Again, all on surface streets. Whoa, there's a school bus. Oh gosh, that was close. He has not gotten on any freeways as of yet, but he has been driving just like you see him driving now. Very erratically on surface streets, very high miles per hour, approximately 75 to 80 miles an hour at one point on the wrong side of the road as well. It's also unclear whether there's anybody else in the vehicle other than the driver. Again, wanted for reckless driving. We really don't know if there are any other wants on this vehicle, but school police first picked this up, and once it got out of their general area, that's when they handed it over to the LAPD. An LAPD helicopter is overhead monitoring the pursuit from above, and let's see what he does here. He is slowing down a bit. Looked like he maybe tried to turn into that street and then changed his mind and is now continuing. This is now in the Pasadena area. So if you're familiar with the 210 freeway and the 134 split, it's going to be just north of that. He got very close to that 134 as well as the 210. He had the option of getting onto either one of those freeways, decided against it, and is now continuing this pursuit. Now going to be entering into the Altadena area. The nearest major streets are going to be Lake Avenue and Altadena Drive. Exactly. A lot of the time when pursuits are like this one, where the driver is very reckless, they will often go into what's called surveillance mode, which means that they pull all of the units, all of the ground units off of the vehicle in hopes that he'll basically think he's not being pursued. But of course, that helicopter stays overhead and continues to monitor him in hopes that he'll slow down his roll a touch. But in this case, this driver doesn't care. He's still continuing to drive very erratically, even though there are no police units directly behind him. Yeah, very high speeds. We heard as much as 75 to 80. Oh, well, there we go. He just crashed into that vehicle. He's taking off running. We see a male running into what appears to be some sort of business, into the back parking lot. He's just behind the building right now. I'm sure we'll see him come out here in just a moment. He's on the backside of this building. We saw him crash there into that white van and then took off running. We lost sight of him behind the building, so I'm sure he's still somewhere in this area. You can see that the first police unit is arriving here on scene in search for that suspect. We lost him right behind this building. I'm sure he's going to pop out here in just a moment. Police are getting to the area. Of course, that LAPD helicopter was overhead, so he likely has eyes on the suspect and will be able to guide some of those ground units over to where that suspect is currently hiding now. Yeah, it sounds like that's exactly what he did. He continued walking southbound on Yeah, I can hear you now, Carolyn. Sorry about that, making a turn there. This is going to be on Lake Avenue, just south of where the suspect crashed, and it does look like police now have that suspect in custody. After the collision, the suspect took off running behind that building. We lost sight of him there for just a moment, but he continued walking southbound on Lake Avenue, trying to get away from police, but units were close behind. Even though we couldn't see them within our line of sight, they weren't far away, and now you can see that the suspect is now in custody.
Oh no, no, no!
We have a suspect running. Oh, this is gonna be close.
To watch more heart-stopping car chases happening across Southern California, subscribe here. Thanks for watching. The Chase is on.